Hey guys, this is Dr. Jeni, and today we have a very special interview with one of my patients who has agreed to be interviewed. So we're going to talk to her and ask her some questions about her protocol, what kind of things she's doing, what kind of results she's seeing. And I want to welcome her. Her name's Mallory Gonzales. Welcome, Mallory.
Hi.
Hello. Just a quick reminder, you guys, you can book a free consultation with me at my website, have your health questions answered, and see if we would be a good fit to work together. Okay, so welcome, Mallory. Thank you for agreeing to be interviewed. Mallory is a friend of mine, and can you just tell everybody how we know each other?
Well, I met Jeni a couple months ago. Her and her husband Dan knew my parents and had a discussions with them, and I talked to my parents, and they're like, I think it'd be really great for you to meet Jeni and get to know her and see what she might have to offer you. Just a little history of me. Personally, I was diagnosed with PCOS when I was about 15 years old. I had never had a cycle like on my own. And so obviously when you're 15, 16 years old, something's probably not right. And it took a lot of time for me to find the right doctor that diagnosed me with that. And just over the last 17 years, I've, I was on birth control pills since I was 15, just to try to manage symptoms. And so I got married in 2012, and about a year later, we decided we wanted to try to have a family. And up until that point, I had known, with PCOS can come infertility issues and stuff like that. So, but I didn't really know what was going to happen. So we went off birth control pills. And since then, I've never had a cycle ever since then. And I've, seen multiple doctors, gone to, specialists, and, been on more birth controls, been on metformin, Clomid, just a bunch of stuff, trying to heal my body, and nothing's ever worked. And so I kind of just got to the point where I was like, anything, I'll try anything. So Adam and I had kind of come to the point this last year that, we'll try, one more thing, and then we're just basically going to give up. Like if it's not in the cards for us, then, we'll just deal with that. But I got to meet Jeni and was interested in learning a holistic approach to actually healing my body instead of just treating it. And so that's where we got started.
Oh, well, thank you for that explanation. I would love to know too a little bit about you personally. So you recently moved. I know the first time we met in Texas, and now you live somewhere else. So can you tell us about that move, even, what you do for work, what you like to do for fun, a little bit about you?
Sure. So Adam and I recently moved to Buckeye, Arizona. He was offered a position out here, and that was probably last winter, and it was a hard decision for us to make to up and leave our whole family out in Texas and Oklahoma, and but we were able to come out here, and it's been great so far. We're lucky enough now to both be working for the same company, and we are in a trailer dealership out here, and basically just get to spend all of our time together, which is great for us. That's why we got married. We enjoy, hanging out together, and we enjoy cooking together, watching movies. We're lucky to have a pool in our backyard, so we'll hang out back there. Right now, it's really hard to do anything. Everything's been shut down for so long.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
We don't really know what there is to do out here, but lots of people we've talked to said there's tons of stuff to do. So we don't have any favorite restaurants or any favorite places to go yet, but we're in a quiet little neighborhood, and we're really enjoying it. The weather's been great. Been in the high 90s and hundreds, but
wow. That is great. Oh, well, it sounds like you have a really great marriage, and you have a very supportive husband. I know what that's like too. And so you said you were diagnosed with PCOS when you were a teenager. You've been on, you know, a wealth of different prescription drugs to treat the symptoms that your physicians have prescribed for you.
Mhm.
And nothing has worked. So
Right.
when I met Mallory, she was at a place of frustration. Would you say that's true?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And can you describe what our first meeting was like?
So the first time I met Dr. Jeni was at my parents' house. Her and Dan came over and just talked to me and my sister and kind of about what we were going through. Um, Kind of gave us some introduction steps on what we could do. But then we also were able to go through like my mom's kitchen and through all the things in our pantry, look at the ingredients and kind of find out, what we really should be looking for in our food. Basically, if you can't pronounce it, don't eat it. All the preservatives and different things that are on food, even healthy foods.
Yeah.
That you shouldn't
Healthy. Yeah.
healthy foods that you shouldn't be consuming. The flavorings that are natural or whatever, but really there's no regulations on what any of that stuff has to be. It can say natural, but really that doesn't mean anything. So
Right.
Just started the process of having to think through what really we're putting in our bodies every day.
Well, that's great, and I really enjoyed meeting you and your sister there at your parents' house and going through your cabinets. I know it's tough sometimes when you have someone go through your cabinets and you say, wow, there's a lot of unhealthy things in there, or things that you even thought were healthy or are trained to believe were healthy. Maybe they were even in the health foods aisle, but
Right.
place ever, and I say this to all my other patients too, is to look at the ingredients. That is the best way to know really what's in the product, is to turn that package around, no matter how organic or green or clean or all the different certifications the front of the package has. Look at the ingredients, because that really is the truth of what's inside.
Mm-hmm.
So after that first meeting, you decided you wanted to work together. And how long have we been working together, Mallory?
I think it's been about 2 months.
Yeah, it's been about 2 months. And can you describe a little bit of what your protocol is, a little bit of what you've been doing, some different things that you've implemented? Can you share your thoughts?
Sure. So when we first got started, the first step I took was cutting out gluten, including rice, which I didn't. I first started, I didn't know that rice was considered like a gluten grain, because if you look up online, then that's usually included in a lot of stuff. And then in a lot of gluten-free stuff, they'll use brown rice flour, so I stay away from that now. But so cutting out gluten, dairy, sugar, soy, and so I started doing that, and we did that I think for about a month, and I felt good. Didn't really have bloating and stuff like I'd had before, and I noticed some weight started to come off. I probably lost about 10 pounds in that month, which is a great side effect of eating healthy.
It's a great side effect. Yeah, it's a side effect you want.
Yeah. And then about 3 weeks or maybe 4 weeks ago, Dr. Jeni introduced me to another protocol I was going to start, which was juice fasting and water fasting, which was very scary. I had done juice fasting for a week once before, and it was a pretty horrible experience. I was just very tired, and at the end of it, I was just like so ready to eat. But this time I had a goal in mind. I'm trying to heal my body from years of damage that I've done through eating and medication and all that stuff. So I've just had focus to be able to get through this. My husband's been very supportive. My family's been very supportive, and so I started 3 weeks ago with a juice fast for a week, and I was having a juice that was a head of kale, 2 green apples, 2 carrots, and 2 stalks of celery. I was having that 3 times a day with some herbs and supplements that Dr. Jeni recommended for me as well. And so I did that for 7 days and it went really great. By the 7th day, I was pretty ready to be done with the juicing though. I was ready to just have my water fast because I was like, I don't want to drink this anymore. I'm pretty tired of this flavor. So that week was great. Started the water fast and I was pretty optimistic about that as well. I'd read a lot of stuff online and seen some videos about people, even my own brother, he's done this before and had a great experience, day 5 to 7, started to get a lot of energy. But me personally, I didn't really experience that. I had a couple days that I felt, pretty good. I think that was from the leftover nutrients I had from my juices, but most of the week I felt really tired, very weak, could barely, get up in the morning, walk across the room. So as much as I could, I just spent my time laying down, just trying to rest and just get through the week. And then this last week, which for me ended yesterday, was another juicing week. And that was a lot more difficult than the first juicing week. I was totally over the juice. I was like, I don't want to drink this anymore. The thought of it made me nauseous. Actually drinking it made me nauseous. And I just had to scale it back a little bit. So I went from 3 juices a day to 2 juices a day with my herbs and supplements still, and cut down, one of the apples because the flavor had changed to me. It was way, way, way sour from the green apples to me now. So I had to change that and just had to manage it. I had a lot of nausea this last week, but was able to get through it, drinking a lot of water also with the juicing. And then, so this week I'm starting my next week of water. And so I'll do this for a week and then I'll have one more round of juicing and water. And then we'll move on to the next phase. But I'm optimistic about this week. I hope it's not as draining as the last week was. I'm hoping to have that boost of energy at some point. So we'll see. But if I need to rest, I know I can just, lay down and chill out and just know that I just need to take it easy this week. So, so far, the protocol for me has been pretty good so far. It's very surprising to me how, I guess, easy it's been. I know that the support of my husband has really helped me to stay focused. He's very encouraging. He even juiced with me a little bit last week for, about half a week. Yeah. And, my family's very supportive and definitely wouldn't be able to get through this without, God being able to sustain me through this, giving me just the power to move forward. But, it's been good. And at the end, if I'm able to heal my body from all this, and that was, all the discomfort was definitely going to be worth it.
That is, you have a really great mindset, Mallory, because there's 4 steps of wellness success. And the first step is having the desire to change. So when we first met at your parents' home in Texas, you let me know that you have this strong desire to change, and your change is to be well and accomplish, your 3 goals that you shared with me. So having that desire is key. And then the second step of wellness success is obtaining the education. And you can obtain education for something by going to school. You can watch videos, you can listen to lectures, you can go to conferences, you can work with a natural medicine doctor. You've got to obtain that education some way so that you can then implement, which is the third step. Implementing that education that you receive is the third step to wellness success. And that's what you're doing right now. So step 1, you had a strong desire to change the way things were in the different areas that you wanted to change. Step 2, you had to obtain the education. And step 3, now you're implementing that education. And step 4 is actually passing that education on. So it's great that you're sharing that with your husband, and your husband has joined in juicing with you. And that will help to, that'll only help to benefit his health. So you're already doing all the steps of wellness success. And tell us a little bit about your success. I know we have a before and after picture up here, but tell us about the results that you've seen so far from working together in the past 2 months in your own words.
Sure. Like when I just started to eat healthier and cut out all the gluten and dairy and all those things, I lost about 10 pounds. And then over the last 3 weeks, I've lost another about 20 pounds, which obviously is going to be a lot of water and waste, like you've told me, that's just in your body. So I've lost, some fat as well, but, as you can see in the photo, my face is slimmed down, my body's slimmed down, basically kind of deflated. It was, very bloated before. And, my skin's cleared up. Every time I get on the phone with Dr. Jeni, she's like, "Oh my gosh, you look so great." I'm like, okay, let me talk to you some more. But as far as physical symptoms from my PCOS, I haven't really noticed any change yet. Obviously, my main goal is to have a cycle at some point, and that hasn't happened for me yet. But that can take a long time to heal. So we'll see later down the road how that progresses. But I mean, overall, I feel good. I don't feel sick besides the nausea from the detox of my body, but bloated, just I don't feel nasty from eating. I just feel overall good. I feel like I have a positive mental attitude, which after moving across the country away from your family, and it's only you and your husband out in the middle of nowhere where you don't know anybody, you could definitely have a bad attitude. And I think if you ask my husband, he would definitely worried about my emotional health when we were going to move out here. And it's just, I think with the help of just the nourishing food that I've been having, that it's really helped my attitude. And also when you have, PCOS and hormonal problems, it can cause a lot of depression, which I feel like I've definitely dealt with in the past, although it hasn't been, officially diagnosed with depression. I've never taken any medication for it, but I just feel like I've been in a better headspace since moving out here and starting this protocol. So I think that's a huge, what is it? Like a win. That's just like a win I've noticed, besides the weight and all that stuff, it's just my attitude and my emotions have been better. So
that is fantastic, and that makes me really happy as your doctor and as your friend to hear. I love hearing that from my patients, and it's because of you implementing that education. I was taught by someone that wisdom is knowledge applied. My husband actually shared that with me. So you can gain knowledge, but until you apply it into your life, it doesn't turn into wisdom. And you've chosen to go that route and have applied the education you receive, and that plays a lot, I think. You mentioned, depression and having a positive mindset. It really is a big difference if you wake up and say, man, I don't really want to water fast, or I don't want to juice, but you realize that is a temporary step in this long range of goals that you have. And I know, one of your goals long term, you mentioned you want to have a baby, you want to get your cycle back. And, you are right now in your body undoing years and purging it from years of prescription pharmaceuticals, being put into it. And sometimes that nausea feeling, it comes from the toxins that have stayed in your liver, and prescriptions can stay in your liver for decades, multiple decades. So our body has to release that into the bloodstream, and it doesn't feel great. I'm actually right now, to support Mallory, doing a kombucha fast with her. I am having mostly water. I'm not eating any solid foods, but I'm doing a kombucha fast and drinking a couple of kombuchas every single day, actually. It's to support my patient, who is also my friend that I care about. So I'm excited for your results. And every time I do see you, I notice a glow on your skin, and I'm like, wow, that's great. And that's a win for you, and that's a win for me, because you're winning, and that's what I want for my patients. So I appreciate you sharing about that. And I appreciate you being honest too about how, it's not a breeze doing juice fasting and water fasting and implementing different changes into your life. But when you have a goal and you're working towards that goal to accomplish it, and you're willing to make changes necessary to accomplish that goal, and you see results along the way, it's really encouraging. So I really appreciate you sharing all that. I was going to ask you, is your family supportive, but you've already answered that with your husband. What about the rest of your family? Are they supportive?
Yeah, they're very supportive. I guess with their words, I don't know what they're doing at home, but you know, I'm just trying to be an example, and we'll see at the end of all this what, you know, the end results are, and maybe they'll all come on board with me as well. So I don't know.
Oh, that's great that you want to be a good example to them. And I was also going to ask you, what improvements have you seen? But you already mentioned about the weight and your skin, and you know, more stabilized mood. That is really, you know, the best benefit there is, because our emotions are so tied into our physical health. If we're experiencing a lot of stress in our lives and a lot of stress bombarding us, even if you're eating really clean and working out, it's hard to be healthy. So I'm glad that you know, your emotions have improved and have stabilized, and I'm really happy for you, Mallory. So thank you for agreeing to be interviewed and
Absolutely.
share your. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I love working with you, and I'm excited to work with you some more to help you accomplish your goals.
Well, I'm looking forward to it.
Woohoo! All right. Well, thank you, and we'll talk soon in our check-in chat.
All right, awesome. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.